Hi beautiful people, my name is Raven Moody. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, if you have, please enjoy this video. I'm going to give you guys a heads up right now. This video is going to be pretty long, but I promise that if you stick throughout the video, that it'll be more than worth it. And so I really want to do this video because it's something that I dealt with growing up, and I want other young ladies, not necessarily even younger than me, just ladies in general who may be dealing with negative effects of not having a positive male role model within their life. And so everybody who didn't have a male positive role model would not have necessarily have dealt with the things that I've dealt with, but I know that there's a lot of women out there who are dealing with some of the things that I've been through, and I just want to basically be able to help people. You know, I hate to ever see people go through the things that I go through, and even when they're going through that, I'm like, okay, well, how can I help you? You know, I went through the same thing, and I've gotten through it. How can I help you? And so that's why I'm doing this video. So please stay tuned into the end. There is a poem at the end that kind of gives you guys a showcase or a witness to what exactly I went through and just how broken I was. And so please stay tuned. Once again, thank you guys in advance for watching the video. Here it goes. So the first thing is something that I dealt with, and I'll give you guys two big scenarios that I dealt with as far as my relationships with men. The first one is seeking validation. Up until the spring of 2011, my validation was based on how many people tried to talk to me. So at one point I was told that I was ugly by my father, which, first of all, let me do a disclaimer. This is not a male bashing video. This is not something where I'm bashing my dad. My dad is a pretty awesome person. I've learned to grow and to love him and to accept him for who he is. He accepts me for who I am, and I talk to him pretty often. So, first, I do want to say that first. Okay, secondly, okay, back to the validation. So, my validation was based on how many people tried to talk to me, and because, I don't know, I just felt like I was ugly. You know, every kid goes through their ugly phase, and so there were just so many times where I felt like I was ugly, or I was like, basically I felt like I must be ugly if a lot of people aren't trying to talk to me. And so in 2011, I started to realize that, you know what, you're beautiful. You know, it doesn't matter how many people try to talk to you. It doesn't matter how many people tell you that you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You have to know that for yourself, because if you don't know that for yourself, the world will tell you a million different things, and you will believe them if you are not secure within yourself and you know who you are, you know your worth and your value. And so that was something that I dealt with. Something else that I dealt with, that actually, I'm 22 and I just recently had to get over this because I didn't even realize that I was dealing with this situation, is basically that all it took for me to basically pretty much disrespect myself or allow somebody to disrespect me is for somebody to be nice to me. And this came from my relationship with my dad, and I didn't even realize it. But basically, like, all it takes is for somebody to be nice to me. Everything, I can have a boyfriend who's being so disrespectful and so rude and just doing, you know, just vulgar things, cheating on me, being mean to me, cussing at me, just different type of disrespectful things. And all it took was him to be nice to me for all that stuff to go out the window. And I realized that that came from my relationship with my dad, because as a young child, my dad would say things that were mean or that were negative or that were nasty, and my response was, you know, I'd be mad at you and I'd be angry and I'd, you know, fight back and with whatever ways that I could, whether it be being negative or mean right back, or whether it's I'm not going to talk to you for a little while type thing. No matter what, all it took was for my dad to be nice to me, because I did have that desire to be loved, and I did have that desire to be a daddy's girl. All it took was for you to be nice to me, and I was, you know, everything is erased. Everything you just did to me is erased as of right now. I'm going to be hugged up with you, underneath you. Like, I love my dad, and I want this father-daughter relationship, and so everything will go out the window. And so I started to do that with relationships as I became a teenager and a young adult. Well, my boyfriend could be, like I said, he could be rude, disrespectful, cheat on me. Well, cheating was kind of different, because I was kind of like, you got me messed up. But still, sometimes, depending on the person, I would allow it as well, because I cared about that person so much, and I wanted to be loved, and I wanted to be, you know, I wanted that, you know, to feel desired. And so I was trying to fill a void. And so you could be really mean to me, but guess what? Because you were nice to me, I'm going to let it slide for right now. And we might have to go back and deal with it later, because the issue's not solved. But at that time, I would give them whatever they desired, whether it be, you know, being up underneath them, continuing the relationship. At one point it was sex. But well, actually it was only with one boyfriend, but yeah, that was my thing. You know, as long as you were nice to me, which is basically me feeling loved and me feeling desired, then all that stuff didn't matter to me. It didn't matter that you were just mean to me. It didn't matter that you were negative to me. It didn't matter, you know, what you were doing, because I was like, oh, well, I'm loved. And so, those are things that I had to go through. So now let me go ahead and get into um, let me. This is something else really big. The third thing is I went after what I wanted, just to prove my worth. And my thing is, you know, especially as I became an adult, if I wanted something, I was like, I'm gonna go after that, because basically by you being mean to me, and this kind of ties into you being nice to me. If you were mean to me, I'm going to prove to you my worth. I'm going to prove to you my value. I'm going to prove to you how good of a girl I am. You know, I can cook, I can clean, I can do all this stuff. You know, I'm motivated. I'm really just this A1 person. You know, I really felt like I had the qualities to be a wife. And so I was like, you're being mean to me? You don't want me? What? Let me show you who I am. And so I was constantly going out chasing after these people who did not desire to be in a relationship with me, or didn't even like me, whatever, for whatever reason. Some people, they weren't attracted to me. Some people, they just I don't know, for whatever reason that they didn't like me. I was like, I'm gonna show you my worth. You're gonna recognize my worth. And so I would chase after people in order to get them to see my worth and my value. And definitely, clearly, that's something unhealthy. And so that's something else I dealt with. Because I wanted people to see my worth. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be valued. And so my thing is, the only way you'll value me is if I show you my value, and I'm going to make you see my value by me chasing after you. But that is something that does not work. You cannot make somebody see your value. You cannot make somebody love you for who you are. And something that my dad actually recently told me was that you cannot make someone see or realize your value if they can't even value themselves. If they don't know who they are, if they don't value who they truly are, they're disrespecting themselves. They're out hanging out in the streets there, which is not even my type of guys anymore. But you know, whatever they're doing, if they don't realize their full worth and their full value, and they don't know what they're gonna do with their life, then you can't possibly expect them to realize your value and value what's good about you. And so, I first want to say that before I go into how to get over this stuff, you can let me. Let me tell y'all, you cannot fill a void with anything on this earth. I don't care. You can try sex, you can try alcohol, you can try drugs. I don't care what it is. You cannot fill any void. You can do it a person, no matter what it is, whatever void you have because your dad was not there, you cannot fill it. Not even with a person. And it's something that not even that father can be able to feel, because some people have their fathers and they're still not, you know, where they want to be in life, and they're still not, you know, walking in their value and their purpose as a young woman. And so no person, no thing, no object, no money, nothing on this earth can fill a void. So first let me say that you have to fill that void within God. Knowing God and having a relationship with God, and really knowing His word and knowing who you are in Him, that is the only thing on this earth that's going to fill a void. And I don't care if you're a Christian, I don't care what it is. I'm telling you, to know Jesus Christ and have to have a relationship with Him, that's the only thing that can fill a void. So I'm already at 8 minutes, so let me continue to go forward. So first of all, as far as relationships, first of all, heed the warning signs. If there's something that that a guy is doing that that is a red flag for you, don't ignore those. I'm telling you guys, I've ignored red flags before, and it always ends up in chaos because I ignored it because of whatever reason. It could be something where, I don't know, just I didn't want to see the warning flags, or I just, oh well, you know, it'll get better. No, if there's a warning sign, let me tell you, pay attention to the red flags, because that is God's way of showing you, he ain't the one, let it go. And so when you start to meet somebody, first of all, pay attention to what he talks about. If he's mentioning things that have to do with sex, if he's mentioning, you know, okay, well, what do you do? What do you have another side to you? Are you a bad girl? Like, if he's asking questions like that, you already know where his head is at. He's going to use you for sex, or he's going to, whatever the situation, he's going to use you. So pay attention to the warning signs. Something else to be paying attention to is where are you hanging out? Are you hanging out? First of all, your first date should never be at your house or his. No, there should be not all the stuff that there is. We don't have to go out and spend money. We could go to the bar, we can go to a movie, we can go walk on the canal or something. Like, you can do anything. You don't have to spend money. But where are you hanging out? You know, where he takes you, Why are we at your house hugged up on your couch? I don't know you like that enough to be all up in your face like that. Like, let me get a chance to get to know you by just hanging out. Like I said, you don't have to spend you don't have to spend money. But where are you hanging out? Something else is, are you, when you do hang out, are you, if you're in a relationship and it's just time spent in it, it's not a first date, are you always at his house, or is he always at your house? Where are you guys hanging out? Are you a secret? Is that something that I did at one point? Never, ever, ever. If you're a secret, you don't need to be with him at all. Like, let that go, because clearly, if any man, if he has a woman, he's gonna be proud to show her off. This is my woman, and you want other man. This is my woman. This is mine. I got this. So you do not ever want to be a secret. Let me see. Is he being disrespectful? Is he doing things that are disrespectful to you? Is he cussing at you? Is he saying negative things? Is he making jokes about your appearance, or anything about you? Is he being disrespectful? Pay attention to those warning signs, because that will say a lot about his character. Also, pay attention to his friends. So just pay attention to like the little things. Also, pay attention to what are his goals and ambitions, because something I've noticed is that a guy who does not have goals and ambitions, he is not going to value yours. You might be like me. I was like, well, I'm educated. I'm going to be a television broadcaster one day. I'm this, I'm that. I'm all that in a bag of chips. Like, I'm motivated. I'm educated. I'm, going to church. I'm not, out here just in the streets doing whatever. Like, I'm a good girl. So if that's not his value, if he doesn't value that, he ain't going to care. So what? And if anything, he might be so insecure to try to tear you down, because your values or what you want, he might be threatened by that, because your ambitions are greater than his. So pay attention to things like that, and make sure that your desires and your standards have standards. Write them out. Don't just say, okay, well, these are my standards. No, you really need to write them out so that you're very clear and very plain in what standards are. And that doesn't mean you have standards that are sky high that nobody can reach, because if you can't even reach your own standards, that's not fair to have somebody else to reach them. Something else. When you notice red flags, address them right then and there. Because if you don't address them later, he gonna either make you feel like you're stupid, or he gonna be like, what are you talking about? Or he might flip it back on you, or he might even just dismiss you. Okay, so that happened last week and you just not addressing it. It's irrelevant to me, type of thing. Also, you want to have an appropriate response or consequence for that. So if somebody is being disrespectful to you, you need to look, I don't like that. That's disrespectful, and you need to set a standard of, this is how you're going to treat me. This is not how you're going to treat me. If that means, okay, recently I had a guy who was hanging out with me, and he was doing something disrespectful, and I was just like, quit. Like, that's not even funny. Like, chill. And he was just continued to do it like two or three more times. And I said, okay. Actually, he only did 2 more times. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not playing with you. You got one more time to do that, and I'm gonna put you out. Like, and he's just a college friend, it was just like, okay, well, whatever. But still, I don't care what the situation was. I don't care if we friends. I don't care if we talk, whatever. Don't disrespect me. And he was realized, like, oh, she's serious. Like, and since that, he ain't never done it since. You have to set a standard, because if you don't set a standard, people will treat you how you allow them to. If you allow them to be disrespectful, you're gonna continue to be disrespected. But if you set a standard and you like, you know what, this is what you're not gonna do, and if you do it, we either can't be friends, or people will either rise to that, and they will be like, oh, you know what, she respects herself, so I have to respect her. They're either going to rise to your standards and meet that expectation, or they're going to be like, you know what, I don't even care to even, oh well, I'm out. Like, and if they continue to disrespect you, let them go. I don't care how much you see in that person, how much you see, how much potential is in that person, how much you like that person. It does not matter. If you don't have self-respect within, nothing else matters. The biggest thing I've realized for me in relationships is respect. If we don't respect each other, what's the point of us being together? That is the biggest thing for me. Respect, respect, respect. Also, yeah, be willing to like let go of the situation if they're not willing to respect you. And so respect yourself. Set a standard for them to respect you. Something I can say is, as far as realizing your value and your worth, you just have to spend time with yourself. Learn to enjoy yourself. Sometimes turn off your phone, so that it's not like, oh, like this person's blowing up my phone, because you feel like, oh well, I'm popular or people like me because, no, learn to love you for who you are. Sometimes that means that, like I said, turn off the TV, turn off the social media, turn off your phone, and just be able to enjoy yourself. Figure out what you like, figure out your pastimes, your hobbies. If that means that you could go somewhere by yourself, go to a movie by yourself, go, do anything by yourself. Learn to love yourself, because if you can't love yourself, how can you expect anybody else to love you? You have to know what you like about yourself, and that's also plays into your standards. Because if you don't even realize your worth or your value, how can you have standards? And so, definitely spend time with yourself. Learn to love yourself. Learn who you are in God. Read the Bible. Start to really like, okay, God, show me who I am. Show me the nice things about me. And really start to, like I said, create a relationship within yourself, with yourself, so that when somebody else's parent is gonna try to step to you wrong, you be like, oh no, I like who I am, I respect myself, I love myself way too much for me to lose who I am or disrespect who I am for you. Love yourself, because that is the foundation of somebody else loving you and you being able to accept their love. So actually this video isn't gonna be as long as I thought it was, but something I'm gonna show you guys 3 books that I've read. And before I show you guys these books, I want to first say, you can do all the reading in the world. If I could turn this computer around and show you all the books that I have so many books about relationships, about finding your worth, your value, all this other stuff. I have so many books. But guess what? It starts with God. You can read 1,000,001 books that train you in how to conduct yourself and train you how to think. But guess what? As soon as something happens, and it's so, like, you get your feelings hurt, you get your heart broken, something, all that stuff, all that you trained yourself to do can be wiped away if it's not who you are. It's just the way that you're training yourself to think, or the way you're training yourself to conduct yourself. But when you have the presence of God that lives within inside of you, and you know who you are in God, and you know how to conduct yourself in a godly manner and things like that, and you realize who you are and your worth and your value as a child of God, you don't have to, then at that point, yeah, you can read books, to help you out a little bit, but first you must realize that you can train yourself in how to act or whatever. It's not going to matter if it's not something that's really like your character. And reading books is not going to change your character. Getting to know God and changing yourself from the inside by knowing God and by knowing the Word of God and really having that deep inside of you, that's going to change your character. But training yourself to act a different way, is not going to help if your character isn't going to change. Because I will say that I had a relationship with my last 2 relationships. I read so many books, so many books. But guess what? It took 2 relationships to erase all that stuff. I don't remember half the stuff that I was reading in those books, because it was just something I was repetition, reminding myself, okay, well, oh, he did this, go do this. No, have a relationship with God, and then start to, read or do whatever you have to do in order to continue to remind yourself, okay, well, this is who I want to be, this is how I'm going to carry myself, this is how I'm going to love myself. You definitely want to have a relationship with God first. And so I will say, I have so many books, it's not even funny. Like, I have both of Steve Harvey's books, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, and the second one, Straight Talk, No Chaser. I've got tons and tons and tons of books, but these are the 3 that help me the most. And I say this because they're written by godly men. Actually, 2 of them are by the same author, and usually I'm the person, I don't like to advertise for people if I feel like, oh, I'm not getting paid by my advertiser. But I feel like these books were definitely a blessing to me, and so I don't mind sharing these books with other people. Yeah, so basically, God's presence, before I go into the book, God's presence will keep you from making wrong decisions. Like, you won't even necessarily even need these books, really necessary. I mean, yeah, they'll help, but it's not like, oh, like, I really need to read this book if God's presence is there. Because God's presence will keep you from, when God warns you about something, you'll heed his warning, because his presence is there, and you're like, okay, God is warning me, so that means I need to pay attention. And so God's presence will help you not make wrong decisions, and help you not make decisions where you're disrespecting yourself, because you'll know who you are in God, and you'll love you and respect yourself and who God has created you to be. And so That's something that's really, really big. But the books are, the first one is the first one I read, and it's Women Have All the Power, Too Bad They Don't Know It. Secrets every man's daughter should know. And okay, let me make a disclaimer before I go into this book. Um, this video is not a, okay, well, once you get over this stuff, you'll be good to go find a man. Don't read these books and then think, oh, I'm gonna be ready to find a man, because if God does not have for you to find a spouse, you're not gonna get that spouse yet. And so don't think or go into these books thinking, okay, well, how do I maneuver through relationships? No, this is stuff that'll help you with personal development, but don't think that, oh, this is like a find a relationship quick type thing. So this definitely helped me, because it made me realize, helped continue to me realize, you know, my value as a woman. Some of the chapters are called, one is Aren't You Tired? There's Manology. There's all kinds of stuff in this book. Stay in your own lane. Keeping the Peace, which is not about peace. It's about yeah, it's about sex. But anyways, Giving Him a Peace is chapter 5, and it's PEACE. So basically, you being the peace. Like, you know, you want to be a peaceful woman. You don't want to cause strife and craziness in your house, because if he's not happy, he gonna go find peace somewhere else. Another one is The New School Woman. Yeah, so that's one book that really helps me. You can find it on Amazon, and actually this book is so good that I was reading this book, and this is actually, you probably thinking, oh, this looks kind of new. She probably hasn't read it. No, actually, I had this book about 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, and my mother, actually, I let her read it, and she basically took my book because she marked it up and all that stuff, and she's like, oh, you can't have this back. And so she actually started a book club off this book because she loved the book so much, and it really helped. The next one is What Daddy Should Have Told His Little Girl by Tony Gaskins. Once again, you can find it on Amazon, and basically this is something that definitely helps me, because it's almost the same thing. Michael J. Lockwood, which is this one, it's actually Lisa Leslie's husband. I don't know if I said his name, but yeah, Michael J. Lockwood, he wrote this book basically to his daughters. This one, Tony Gaskin doesn't have any daughters, but it was basically something that he's learned throughout life, and he's actually a life and relationship coach now. And so some of his titles are why is it that some men don't value celibacy? Why is it so hard for a man to express his feelings? Can guys and girls just be friends? Why is there a double standard between men and women regarding sex? There's a beautiful woman. Stop a man from cheating. Why is it that it's easy for some guys to end a relationship? Why do some men physically abuse women? Why do men choose white women? Why do black men choose white women? Excuse me. Why some men cheat with less attractive women? What can stop a man from cheating? Those are just some of the chapters in this book, and so this was something else that really helped. I like this. I chose Tony Gaskins above Steve Harvey, which I like Steve Harvey's books too, but because he has a more he's a man of Christ, which is not saying that Steve Harvey is, but Steve Harvey was more to a broader audience. If you're not really, which this is not just for Christians either, but it's for everybody as well. But some of his principles that he believes in, as far as like celibacy for one, a lot of some people wouldn't agree with, and so this is just something that I like based off my personal preferences and my life being celibate. As you guys can see the ring on my finger, I am celibate. So yeah, that's something else I liked. The other one, I don't know where this hair is coming from. The other one is also by Tony Gaskins. It's Mrs. Right. Once again, you can find it on Amazon. This book I absolutely loved, and I can't even lie, like there was a piece of this book that kind of offended me, but it was more because it was realistic and it was honest, and I just had to face the fact that this is what it was. And the first chapter in this book is healing before dealing, which I thought was so appropriate, because everyone in life, you need to heal before you allow yourself to jump into a relationship. If you are not healed from the last situation, you are basically gonna carry crap into the next one. If you haven't let that stuff go, you gonna still be carrying around the same trash and garbage. You have to basically get cleansed and be healed, because anything that you use to attract that person, that you basically, with anything that's still within you, from that last relationship and that toxic situation, is going to contaminate the new relationship. And so you want to definitely heal and basically make sure that you're over that other person. I'm never have ever been a person about rebounding ever. I feel like if I care about somebody, I care about that person, and me getting another relationship is not going to help me, because I'm only going to compare you to my ex. And so you could be the greatest person in the world, but if I'm still in love with somebody else, it doesn't matter, because I'm still in love with that person. And so healing before dealing is one. I'm trying to find the table of contents for you guys. Tell you I see it, but healing before dealing. Are you relationship ready? As you dress, you'll be addressed. That's being really important, because a lot of women are out here seeking a husband, and they're out here dressing like showing it all off. How your past affects your present with a man. Understand a man but remain a lady. And that's the thing. And I think a lot of people took the act like a lady, think like a man out of context, and they started to be like, oh, well, I can do what a man does. You know, no, you can't. You're made a woman for a reason, and he talks about that in here. So it's just basically helping you to understand a man a little bit better. Getting chapter 6 is getting him to express how he really feels. 7, a man who earns less than you do. 8, the abusive man. 9, why some men cheat. 10, why some men find it easy to leave a woman. 11, sex before marriage can hurt you. 12, it signs you're moving backwards, not forward. 13, getting from dating to marriage. 14, how to escape the relationship if the relationship won't work. 15, forgetting your ex and getting ready for your next. Chapter 16, communications is to marriage what oxygen is to life. With marriage, you have to communicate. 18, are you dependent, independent, or interdependent? Very, very good chapter. 19, learn to speak Manglish. And 20, don't get trapped in a burning house. And so this is something, the 2 books that I was just like, oh my gosh, both of these, Mrs. Right and Women Have All the Power. Too bad they don't know it. These are both really, really good. But basically, also, like I said, you need to definitely make sure that you have a relationship with God, and you're starting to heal and learn to grow from the other stuff, and you have the presence of God living within inside of you before you try to just go out and buy a million books, because all that learning and teaching yourself from books is going to go out the window as soon as you have a toxic relationship, if you don't have the presence of God living within you that is actually going to help you from getting into toxic relationships. So please, please, please do not operate in hurt from not having a positive male role model in your life. You definitely want to heal from those things. And so my big testimony, and I know I said this in the beginning of the video, but and I actually should have said it before I got to 28 minutes on this video, is that I actually have a really great relationship with my dad now. And it was actually February 13th of 2015. I realized that I was operating in some, which was actually a little bit over a month ago. I realized that I was still operating in some hurting ways, and especially as far as the you being nice to me and I'm allowing you to disrespect me type of situation. And what ended up happening is I was like really broken, and I was hurt, and I was like, Lord, I'm broken, like I need your help. And God told me during a Bible study, directly spoke to me and was like, go to the source of the problem. You want to get out of this situation? Go to the source of the problem. And so I called my dad, and I was basically able to tell him how I felt. I told him that I was not angry at him, that I wasn't mad at him for him not being around. I just felt like I needed to express my feelings and how him not being around has affected me in order to move forward. And of course, I didn't, things didn't start to change overnight. My dad did give me some great advice, especially like telling me, trust in God. He definitely gave me Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thine understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. And so that's not the actual, that's like the, yeah, that is the scripture. Sorry, guys. So that's something he told me. He told me about, a man cannot value you if he doesn't know his own value and worth. And he told me not to fill voids with people, drinks, alcohol, anything, but to fill voids, I had to seek God, and God will make me whole. He basically just told me, even him as a person, people are going to let you down, and even parents. And so you just basically have to, first of all, be willing to forgive. That's the biggest step in growing, is you have to learn to forgive. You have to learn to get past, your past. And that's the thing, that was the biggest thing, is I've already forgiven my father in order to move forward. And the whole time I was on the phone with him, he probably doesn't even know this, but I cried the whole time. And it wasn't tears of sadness, it wasn't tears of, oh my gosh, I'm hurt. It was more tears of, okay, I'm able to release this stuff. I'm able to be honest with my dad, and he told me some stuff that I've done that bothered him. I told him some stuff that bothered me, and basically, like, it just made me really, like, now I talk to my dad all the time. I love him to death. We have a great relationship. I can call him and talk to him about anything, which I've always been able, since I've been an adult, calling him and talk to him for the most part. But there were some things that I was still dealing with and still wanting to work on. And so, yeah, just God basically led me back to my dad to really tell him how I felt, and I was able to grow from that relationship. And it was just, I don't know, now that I'm able to deal with my dad in a healthy and positive way, I can now deal with men in a healthy and positive way. And that's something that I've actually recently been able to do, is I was allowing someone to disrespect me, and there was like they ignoring me and basically communicating to me when they felt like it. And so by me not having the relationship with my dad, and that was the thing, I had to call my dad because of the relationship with that person. The person basically was like, they were doing things, and I was like, it was bothering me, and I don't even think it was the person, what the person was doing that was bothering me. I think it was triggering things that like reminded me of my dad. And so that's why God had to lead me back to talk to my dad. And so now I'm just like, you know what, if you can't respect me, or you can't communicate with me in a proper way, or you can't, address me in a proper way as a young lady, then it's probably best that we not speak. And so that's just what it is. I've learned to love myself and respect myself. And if that means letting go of something that you really want, or a person that you really desire to be connected to, so what? God has better for you, and He will honor you. The fact that you're willing to walk away from what's not, in order to get what God has best for you, because He will give you something better if you're willing to walk away from that toxic situation. You just have to step out on faith. And so, as before I let you guys go, because I'm already at 32 minutes, I'm gonna read you guys this poem to just show you guys where I was in 2013, and this is and I'm completely not even in that space anymore. But this was out of a toxic my most toxic relationship I've ever been in my life. And so yeah, I hope this blesses you guys as well. I came into this relationship with a strong mind. I knew I was a queen on the road to becoming everything that God had created me to be. I was comfortable with myself until your words left me battered and beaten. I thought I loved myself, and I thought I knew my worth. And I was so proud that I had been able to withstand the pressure of any man's sweet nothings and caressing hands. But I lost my self-respect the day I ignored all the red flags, thus allowing you to pacify me, but calling me your girlfriend so I'd feel set apart from your hoes. I loved you so much that I hated you. I wanted to scream from the top of my lungs saying, I am not my hair, because I'm natural. Don't you see that I'm beautiful? I'm more than the organs between my legs. Everyone else can see my worth, so why can't you? When I met you, I was everything a wife should be. I even have an education, and I'm striving to be the best that I can be. So why don't you love me? I can never cry because I knew I was doing it to myself. How could I put up with your bullshit after my last showed me how I should be treated? Excuse my language. You tore me down with your words, making me feel that I would never be good enough. You used me for money, empty sex, free meals, and false companionship. You called me your queen, but purposely ruined my self-esteem to prove yourself as king. I knew that you didn't meet my standard because we were constantly breaking up, not realizing that for each makeup, I was losing more and more dignity. I accepted the fact that I let you in, so I ignored the signs just so that I could use your age and gorgeous looks I ignored the sign. Okay, let me go back. I knew you didn't meet my standards, so we were constantly breaking up, not realizing that for each makeup, I was losing more and more dignity. I accepted the fact that I let you in, so I ignored the signs just so that I could use your age and gorgeous looks as a trophy to prove my womanhood. I learned to silence my unhappiness because you justified your wrongs in saying that I should be happy because you weren't beating my ass or cheating. But that wasn't entirely true either. But I learned, and now I'm free. And God is in the midst of completing me. making me whole and shaping me into the woman that I'm supposed to be. I'm thanking God. I'm thanking God because this taught me the importance of loving myself. I learned that you could only treat me how I allowed you to. I learned to appreciate the contrite spirit that led me closer to God. I learned the importance of letting go and no longer loving your facade that used to make me happy. I learned that love doesn't hurt people. People hurt other people. I learned what love is not, but most importantly, I learned what love is. I said that my next would be my last, and I meant that. I never allow myself to settle for less than the best, and if He takes God and eternity to awaken my Adam, I'll be more than okay with the wait. My focus is not getting to the right one. My focus is becoming the one that God has created me to be. No more tears, no more pain. This lesson was not in vain because of the strength that was gained. I have finally found this deep love for myself in Christ, and I have finally been delivered from the bondage of a generational curse just because my daddy wasn't there. And that's something that obviously is like dear, excuse me for the mess ups, but that's something that's dear to my heart because that poem was just, it was something I was dealing with, and a lot of people still to this day, family wise, like, no, there's not a lot of people who know exactly what I went through in that relationship, but I learned from it. And even though it was toxic and I hurt and I cried and all that stuff, I didn't really cry because I was more angry at how toxic it was. I was never really depressed. I was just like going crazy because I was so angry at the way he was doing me. So I never really cried. I was just angry because he was somebody that I was like, how can you not see my worth? Come on now, like all the females you mess with are just, whatever. And I'm valuable. I'm great. I have education. I'm doing all this stuff. But because his values weren't mine, I a lot more ambitious than he is, but because my values didn't match up with his, he didn't see the value in who I was. He didn't see the value in me being an educated black woman and me being so ambitious and me, being celibate and all that other stuff. And eventually I ended up giving of myself, and I will not lie to you guys, I was celibate for 3 years, and I had sex with him one day because he was being nice to me. And I will never forget that day. And so that just goes to show you guys that please do not operate in broken and hurt because you didn't have a positive male role model in your life. Trust God. Continue to just move forward and know that everything is gonna be okay. But you have to take the necessary steps to love yourself and to walk in your worth and your value. And so obviously this video did go as long as I thought it was gonna go, but please just trust God and know that He's gonna be with you. He's not gonna forsake you, and there's nothing you can ask God. If you ask God to help you be better, He's not gonna leave you hanging. He's gonna help you become better. He's gonna help you grow. He's gonna help you, become who you want to be. But something I would say is write down your goals, write down your standards, the things that you will accept, not accept, and write down who you want to be, where you see yourself in 5 years, where you see yourself in 10 years, and if that person doesn't line up with where you're going, and they're not trying to grow with you, or their relationship is a competition for them, let it go. Let it go. I promise you that God will give you the perfect person that will match you perfectly, but you have to be willing to not operate in hurt and not allow people to disrespect you and not allow your desire to be loved and your desire to be wanted to keep you stagnant or allow you to settle. Don't settle, because the moment you settle, you get less than what you settled for. So guys, be blessed. Once again, excuse me for the cussing in that poem. I wrote it back in 2013. So yeah, I read it as it was written. I don't condone cussing, but yeah, it was what it was. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Stay blessed. I hope this is a blessing to somebody. I hope that you watched the whole video. If not, that's okay. I just wanted to be able to share my testimony with somebody else. And basically, I know everybody's not going to be able to have my book, and so or buy my book or be exposed to my book, so I just wanted to be able to share this testimony in another avenue. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Feel free to rate, comment, subscribe. If not, that's cool too. I'm not really on here for likes or comments or subscribes or anything. I'm really on here just to help other people. So thank you guys once again for watching. Be blessed, and until next time, bye bye.